Hello booktube, welcome to Simply Lauralee's bookshelf. Today I am going to be recapping what I read in September. I realize it is a little bit into October and I'm running a little behind, but some things got in the way last month and I'm not going to sweat it. I'm just going to catch up today. So I've got my trusty reader's journal so I don't forget anything. I just kind of want to talk about what all I read in the month of September. The first thing I read was a fiction book of Are We There Yet? And I did a video about this one, so I'm not going to go all into this again because there is a video just about Are We There Yet on my channel. I did, if you didn't see it, I did like it. It's a great fiction novel. I would categorize it as women's fiction. It's about a woman and two of her friends that she met through her children. They all have kids the same age in middle school, and all of the hell that we all know happens during middle school. And how that affects not only their children, but them and their friendships. Great book for parents wanting to feel like they are not alone. And yes, life is crazy. So good. I would definitely recommend this. Also, what else? Let's take that out of the box because it's going to be done. The next thing I read was on on Audible. I listened to Reading Magic by Mem Fox. I also did a video about this book because I just love it so much. It is a phenomenal book for new parents, anyone really that works with kids, talking about how important reading aloud is and how to make it fun and not a chore to really develop great readers and lifelong learners. Love it. Highly recommend Reading Magic by Mem Fox. Next, I read The Midnight Library fiction. I did love this. I also did a video on this one. I loved it. It was, someone referred to it as self-help in the fiction form. Definitely that. It's a great story about, I want to say her name was Nora. Look at me, I can't even remember what her name was, but I loved it. Okay, that's crazy. Anyway, it's about a young woman who is not really happy with her life and the choices she's made, and she's having some regrets, and she finds her way stuck between life and death, and she gets an opportunity through the Midnight Library to relive some of her choices and comes to the realization, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you. You got to read it. Great book. Highly recommend it. After I finished the Midnight Library, I read The Tipping Point. So I did not do a video on this. I think that was the last video I did, I think was on the Midnight Library. So the rest of these, I'm going to give you a little more information. I highly recommend The Tipping Point. I read it. It's by Malcom Gladwell. I listened to Malcom Gladwell on the Don't Keep Your Day Job podcast with Cathy Heller, who I really enjoy Cathy Heller. I listen to her podcast a lot. She has really great thinkers and entrepreneurs on her podcast all the time that are very motivating. So I read Tipping Point. Now, it doesn't have a tremendous effect or impact, probably is the better word, on my life right now. I'm not working outside the home. I'm really just following my interests and doing things that I enjoy right now and trying to figure out what the next chapter of my life is going to look like. But The Tipping Point, especially if you are in business, you're an entrepreneur, you're really trying to find your sticking point and how to grow your business or your brand, I think The Tipping Point is a great read. It is older, it's been around for a long time, but it was on my shelf and I'd never read it and thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. Next one, Quiet. This book by Susan Cain was on my shelf. It's been on my shelf for a while. It's The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. This book I picked up probably a year or two ago. I think it was published in 2012. It's been around for a while. I just hadn't read it and wanted to read it because I do have some lovely introverts in my life. Sometimes I am an introvert, sometimes I'm an extrovert. I'm really one of those flip a coin kind of people. But this book was phenomenal, looking at how our society and our culture has pigeonholed personality types as positive and negative, and it's such a bunch of bunk. Phenomenal read. I think if you're a parent, if you're a human being and you work with anybody that might be introverted, extroverted, it gives you a different perspective, and I found it fascinating. And she has another book which is also on my shelf, so I will probably be picking it up and putting it in the book box pretty soon so I can follow up this read. Again, Quiet, highly recommend. Great book. All right, so after that, I did listen to Breakfast at Tiffanys by Truman Capote on Audible. I absolutely love Audrey Hepburn, always have, always will. Love the movie Breakfast at Tiffanys, but I never thought about it as a book. It was written, I don't have the publication date because it was not on the Audible. I couldn't find that. I probably could look that up. But I've always loved the film, so I wanted to hear the story. There are many similarities, but there's also some differences. I found, I love Holly Golightly in the movie, but I think I even like Holly Golightly in the book more. She is a little more free, as well as a little more, what is the right word? Raw, I guess. I think the film, because of when it was made, might have sugar-coated a few different things in the story that Truman Capote wrote very clearly and a little more vividly. Really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend, if you're an Audrey Hepburn fan and love Breakfast at Tiffanys, either pick up the book or download it on Audible or wherever you get your audiobooks, and take a listen to it. It was really interesting. I'd love to hear what other people's takeaway was, whether they liked the original or the movie version better, and how they related to Holly. Really good book. The ending is very different. So I'll leave you with that. Next, Happy and You Know It. I was needing a little levity, something easy, a light read I wanted to get through after all the nonfiction I had read this month. And I picked this off my shelf. It is a book of the month by Laura Henkin. I struggled to get through this. I don't think it's a bad book. I wouldn't say that. I just don't think it was right for me at this time. I wrote in my book journal that this book is a Real Housewives meets the Nanny Diaries, maybe with a little element of Daisy Jones and the Six thrown in for good measure. So I'll give you a little bit of background on the book. The story is about a musician who is struggling. She was in a band and she was kicked out and replaced just before the band hit it big. And she's really struggling. She is I think she was couch surfing at first, and she's found her place. She has an apartment. She's working odd jobs, and she ends up working she's estranged from her family, a very religious family. And she wants to be in rock and roll and be a little more free with her lifestyle. And she ends up working for this mommy's play group. And this group of women is very much feels like the Real Housewives of New York, Beverly Hills, wherever you want to call. They definitely have some issues going on, and they are they're almost. I think what was hard for me is they're almost like caricatures. They're to the extreme. But I don't like to put a book down unless I just really hate it. And that wasn't the case here. It just wasn't where I was at the moment. So I went ahead and finished it. There was a good twist at the end, and there were definite moments where I identified with the characters and I felt for them. And that's what to me makes a good book, is when you really you're rooting for the characters. You want to know them. You want things to happen for them, or happen to them if you don't like them. So I think this is, if you're looking for a light read with a little twist at the end, I I think it's fine, but it's not going to knock your socks off, and it's not going to change your life, but still okay. I did DNF one book this, and I don't think I brought it in here with me. One book I was reading the, I can't even remember. It was a book about beauty and the French lifestyle and that kind of thing, because I am obsessed with everything European, and as I'm aging, I'm interested in aging gracefully. So I did read it. I probably got about 2/3 of the way through. I'll put it in the notes so you can see it. I think it has some great tips to it, but it just wasn't, there was other things I wanted to read. So I did DNF that. I think it's Ageless Beauty. I don't know. I will find out. I will put it in the notes and let you know. So all in all, September was a pretty good reading month, I think. If I had to say my favorite book, my favorite fiction, of course, was The Midnight Library, I believe. And my favorite nonfiction was Quiet. Both really great reads, highly recommend. Books that will make you think, and might change your life a little bit. Makes a good book. Well, I hope you enjoyed reading this month, and I hope you got something from my suggestions. If you like my channel, please subscribe so you can see when I post updates, and let me know in the comments anything you've read you think I should be reading, or anything you'd like to read, questions, comments, anything. I'd just love to connect and talk some more. And hopefully I can get my videos back on track and start filming regularly. Have a great day, and I will see you soon with my next video. Bye.